Good morning, Rampage family. Welcome back to Game 3 here in Moorhead, Minnesota. This morning's game lineup is against the Northstar Christian Academy. As far as scouting report stuff goes, this will be the strongest and most talented team that we play against this weekend. So, the boys have done great so far, coming away with 2 wins yesterday. Great start to the weekend, but let's hope that has them warmed up and ready to go to play their best hockey, which is exactly what they're going to have to do against this team today. Just about 2.5 minutes left of warm-up time, and then we'll get going here pretty soon. Yeah, I already can't remember exactly where this team is ranked, but somewhere in like the top 5 or something in the country. Ranked number 2 in the nation, which is just a way of saying they're going to be good, and that's okay. I think the keys to the game for our boys this morning are they're going to have to play skilled while playing a physical game to try to take Northstar out of their rhythm and at the same time stay out of the box, which is a bigger description that I could summarize by they got to play good hockey, good tough hockey today. And let's hope that they're up to the task and ready to go. Special thanks again to Miss Sonia Shields for running the camera for me in today's game again. Appreciate everybody tuning in and watching on this early morning. Hopefully it's warmer where you are than it is where we are inside this building. Northstar Christian Academy is also just up the road from here, really not very far. And so, as you can imagine, there are a lot of fans, a lot of family members from that team here in attendance today. So hopefully it's a good, clean game. Hopefully well officiated, but we'll see. Yesterday's game was one of the worst officiated games I've seen in some time, and I know I say that about almost every game that I watch. And I think it's still true. Hopefully this morning will be better. We've got one official that looks like he probably just walked out of his beer league game at 5 o'clock this morning. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. We got 18 minutes up on the clock. The warm-up period is over. And we will get started with period number 1 here shortly. If anybody's watching and you can do me a favor on Crossbar, I'm testing out a new mic this weekend. I think it worked okay yesterday, but if you can just let me know on Crossbar if you can hear me okay, that would be fantastic. All right, team warm-up complete. Everybody fired up and ready to go? Oh, yeah. No worries. All righty. It appears we will have Ryder Shields in net starting the game again today. Haven't gotten an update on Holmesy and how he's feeling today after being run into the back of the net yesterday. Hopefully he's doing all right. I'll try to check in on that after the game when I have a chance to talk to the boys. Out on the ice to get a starter for period number 1, we've got Sarver, Whitted, Drexel, Bennett, and Fuhrer. And I just got a message on Crossbar saying you guys can hear me just fine. Thank you very much. Rampage with the draw. Bennett's going to send it across. A steal by Northstar. They're into the zone quickly. Try to feed it across. Bennett's going to knock it to the near side wall. Server up the wall to the point, but not out. Bounces across. Northstar recollects. They're going to send it into the far corner. Puck back behind the net. Ben sends it up to Sarver. Sarver turns, looks. He's going to flip it up and out of the zone. Whitted gets a stick on it. He's going to dump it in and go for a change. Northstar goaltender holds it up. Defenseman skates to the far side, then puts it back behind their own net. Up to the near side wall. Out of the zone to neutral ice. Sarver with a steal. He's going to send it back to Bisley and go for a change himself. Pass doesn't connect. I believe this is going to go for icing, and just barely does. Whittingham charging in, can't quite get there in time. So 17-18 left in period number one. We'll have a face-off back in the Rampage zone. Out on the ice, we've got Freitas, White, Bisley, Whittingham, and Dormer. Tied up on the draw, and it's going to get poke checked, and now Dormer takes it out of the zone, takes a big hit. Puck into the Northstar zone, and then deflects off a skate and back towards Shields, where he's going to cover it up. So we get a stoppage. We'll have another face-off of the Rampage zone with 17:05 left in period number one. We're going to get a change of cast and crew. We've got Banyan, Judkins, and Flanagan coming out to join White and Bisley. Rampage win the draw back into the corner. White sends it up the wall. Flanagan clears it, and now bouncing around in neutral ice over to Judkins, trying to wrangle it in. It's into the Knights zone. Comes out of the zone, and it's tied up on the boards on the far side. Back out of the zone. Judkins sends it back. Little flub on the pass. Knights into the zone. Shot taken. Shields with a save. He's got in his glove. He's going to hang on. 16:41 left in period number one. Face off in the Rampage zone. So we've got Flanagan, Judkins, Banyan, Bennett, and Espirito. Knights win the draw up to the point. They're going to send it down the wall on the near side. Battle for the puck in the corner. He gets dumped back behind the Rampage zone. Bennett gets there, sends it around the far wall. Knights dump it back in, and now it's going to come out. Knights regain control. They dump it back into the Rampage zone. Bennett sends it up the wall on the near side. Comes up and out of the zone. Knights regain the puck. They have to tag up. They dump it back into the Rampage zone on the near side. Bennett ties things up down in the corner on the near side. Foster comes in to help out. Battle for the puck. And Bennett gets a stick on it, flips it to the far side. Respirito sends it up the wall on the far side, but not out. Knights hold at the point. Puck gets sent back across. Bennett's going to send it up to Flanagan off his stick and into the zone. Knights send it up the far side, and then it gets turned back around again. Poke checked. It's back into the Rampage zone. Shields comes out to play it. He's going to turn and send it back behind the net. Puck gets deflected into the corner. Out front, bounce it around, and now it's going to bounce out of the zone. Knights have to regroup. White controls the puck, sends it to the near side, off Robert's stick, out to Foster. He's going to skate to the far side, takes the red line. He's going to dump it in. Knights goaltender holds it up, sends it to the far corner. Up the wall, Fewer pinching in. Then it's going to bounce up. Drexel takes a shot from the point. Goaltender makes a save. It bounces back up and out of the zone. White recollects, sends it across to Fewer, up to Whitted. Off of his stick, and now Whitted's going to chip it in. Drexel in on the forecheck down low. Puck gets into the far side. Quick steal. Drexel keeps it in the zone momentarily. Knights get it back. Held in. It bounces out to center. Knights recollect the puck. They're going to send it to the near side wall. And now they're going to turn, flip it way up in the air, clear the zone. They chip it into the Rampage zone on the far side. Espirito goes back behind the net. Bisley comes in to help out. Sends it up the wall. Knights with the quick steal. Whitted with the takeaway. He's backhands it up towards Drexel. Drexel the server. Server's in the zone on the near side. He takes a shot. Goaltender makes a save. Puck ends up behind the net. Puck stuck on the back of the net. Server feeds it out front. Nobody quite home. Whittingham crashing in, couldn't get a stick on it. Over to Dormer. Dormer turns and dumps it back into the Knight zone. Knight's goaltender holds it up behind the net, sends it to the far corner. And back again. Puck comes up and out where Fewer blows a tire, and then Knights come in, recollect, make a move. Shields with the save. It bounces up and over. And the puck comes up to the point but not out of the zone. Then it recollects, sends it up to Freitas. Freitas across for Whittingham. Whittingham makes a move. He's into the zone. Now the Knights take it away. They're going to send it back out. Knights coming back the other direction. They're into the Rampage zone on the near side. Fed across. Shot taken. Shields with a save. Dormer turns. He's going to clear it. That'll be icing, and we'll get a stoppage and some fresh skaters out on the ice. 13:22 left in period number 1. Face-off in the Rampage zone. Out on the ice, we've got Banyan, Judkins, Flanagan, Bisley, and White. Puck goes back into the corner. Battle for the puck down low. Bisley is in there battling with some Knights players. Judkins comes in to help out. Puck pinned up against the far wall. Up to the point on the far side. Knights skate the blue line and then send it down hard back behind the Rampage net. Ends up in the corner on the near side. And now White with the steal. He's going to take it away. Feeds it up looking for Banyan. That one doesn't connect, and so we get a whistle for icing. 12:51 left in period number 1. Face off in the Rampage zone. We've got Bennett, Espirito, Banyan, Judkins, and Flanagan. Tied up. It gets chipped up the boards. Flanagan tries to feed it out, and then Judkins pokes it out to neutral ice. Knights turn it back around. They're into the Rampage zone with it. Flanagan picks up the puck. He's going to clear it out to neutral ice. Knights turn around on the near side wall. They chip it into the far corner. Espirito doing battle down low. Knights skate it behind the net. Bennett comes in to help out. Puck comes up to the point to the blue line, and Knights chip it back in. Espirito picks it up behind his net. He's going to skate to the far side, send it up, looking for Judkins. It comes through, goes to Flanagan, bounces back into the zone, up to Banyan. Banyan's into the zone with it. Knights with a quick takeaway. Now Foster coming in, ties things up on the wall. Knights skated off the wall. They're into the Rampage zone. Feed it out to the top of the circle. Shot goes through the creases, ends up on the near wall. Knights with it at the near side point. Shot goes through, Shields with the save. It's going to bounce to the far wall. Looking for the stretch pass to Flanagan. Just doesn't quite connect. Knights coming back the other way. Tied up on the near side wall. We've got Foster in there. Bennett chips it up and out of the zone. Roberts is giving chase. Knights are going to get there first. Roberts is on the forecheck. Puck comes up to neutral ice. Knights coming back the other direction. Puck ends up in the near side corner, comes up the wall, up to the point. Shot taken, and Roberts gets in the way of that. It bounces out of the zone. Knights have to tag up. White's going to pick it up. He skates through neutral. He's into the Knight zone with it. Skates to the outside. Feeds it back towards center. And now Roberts sends a shot wide of the net. It's going to end up on the far wall. Whitted gets there and keeps it in the zone. Knights change direction. Go into the far side. They're up and out of the zone with it. Führer has to knock it down in its own net, or own zone, excuse me. Puck comes up the near side wall. Knights have it in their own zone. Feed it up the wall. Roberts chips it up to neutral ice. And then Roberts is going to chip it again. It's back in the Knight zone on the far side. Puck back into the corner. Sharber with a quick takeaway kind of loses an edge, and the puck comes up and out. Espirito's going to dump it in. Rampage have to tag up. They do so. Knights with the puck. They're at neutral ice. They're going to dump it into the Rampage zone, near side corner. Server to Whitted across to Drexel. Drexel has to wrangle it back in. He's going to dump it into the zone and go for a change. The Knights goaltender sends it to the far corner. Sarver applying pressure on the forecheck. bouncing around. It's going to come up and out of the zone. Dormer turns. A little back and forth in neutral ice, and now Freitas gets a stick on it. He's into the zone. A poke check, and Knights are going to take the puck back. They send it back into their own zone in the far corner. Over to the near side and up the near side wall. Puck gets cleared, and I think it's not quite going to have enough for icing, so play will continue. Puck ends up back behind the Rampage net. Dormer picks it up behind his own net. He turns with it. It's going to send it up off of Freitas' stick. It's going to bounce back into the Knights zone where they will get there first. Stretch pass across. A nice poke check by Trent White. He's going to regain the puck and then a little back and forth at neutral. Knights back into the zone. We have a penalty coming to the Rampage for, I believe, a trip. 9:05 left in period number 1. Rampage are going to be on the penalty kill for the first time in this game. Tripping penalty to Trent White that probably saved the breakaway. Out on the ice, we've got Banyan, Bennett, Judd, nope, Foster, Roberts, Banyan, and Bennett to start on the PK. 9:05 left in period number 1. Knights win the draw up to the point on the near side. Back down the wall, they're going to squeeze to the top of the circle. Shot taken, body's in the way, and then Roberts is going to turn and clear it. Knights goaltender leaves it for his defenseman. They're going to skate it up and out of their zone. Send it to the near side wall. They're into the Rampage zone with it. They turn, send it up to the blue line. Skate the blue line, shot. Shields gets a piece. It deflects up into the netting and out of play. So we get a stoppage, and we'll have a face-off in the Rampage zone. 1:31 left on the penalty kill, 8:37 in the period. On the ice, we've got Whitted, Drexel, Banyan, and Bisley. Puck goes to the far wall, up to the point, across to the near side circle. Shot taken, goes up and over. It's going to end up on the far wall. Knights with the puck. Skate to the circle, poke checked, and it's going to come up to a Knights player at the point. Skates down the wall, and then back behind the Rampage net. Wraparound attempt. That goes off of the side of Shields' helmet and into the net. 8:16 left in the period, and the Knights are going to go up by 1 on a power play goal. Out on the ice, we've got Foster, Flanagan, Rahosian, Espirito, and Bennett. Knights win the draw. Send it through. Foster gets in the way of it, and he's going to dump it into the Knight zone. Knights goaltender sends it to the far wall. Puck comes up and out of the zone. Tied up down low behind the Rampage net. Knights come out of the pile with it. Still kind of tied up. Espirito's in there. He kicks it out to the wall. Shot goes across into the near side wall. Gets deflected up and stays in play. Puck comes out of the zone. Knights recollect. They're going to have to tag up. They do so. Back into the Rampage zone with it. Bennett sends it up and out to neutral ice. Rampage getting a change. Knights turn around, coming back the other direction. Back to Bennett, off the wall, comes out to neutral ice, and the Knights have to tag up. And Freitas is going to take the puck away. He drops it. Whittingham skates in, picks it up, skates to the near side wall. Puck down low. Whittingham behind the net, feeds it up to the point on the far side. White sends it back down. Freitas feeds it out front, looking for Whittingham. It was a good look, just didn't quite connect right out front. White wrangles it in, sends it over to Fewer, who's going to dump it into the zone. Knights goaltender sends it to the far wall. And it gets poke check to stay in the zone momentarily, and Knights are going to recollect. Knights out of the zone to the near side wall into the Rampage zone with it. Fed down front. Centering pass did not connect. Freitas is going to clear the puck back into the Knights zone. This is going to go on net. Play will continue. Knights goaltender sends it up to neutral ice, and the Knights are coming back the other way. Picked up. Flanagan feeds it out and across. Vanion's going to give chase on the far side. Into the Rampage zone. It's going to come into the near side corner. Bouncing around. Espirito picks it up. He turns with it. Feeds it up the wall on the far side, and then up and out. Judkins gets there. He's going to backhand it into the zone. Flanagan gives chase. He ties things up down low in the corner on the far side. Bandy comes in to help out. Tied up in the corner. And puck finally comes loose. Knights send it across to center. Skate out to neutral ice, and they're going to chip it into the Rampage zone and give chase. Gets chipped back into the Rampage corner, in the corner in the Rampage zone, excuse me. And then Flanagan turns. He's going to clear it. And they wave off ice, and goaltender's going to hold it up for his defenseman. Rampage getting change. Whitted backhands it back into the Knight zone where they will recollect the puck. Knights send a stretch pass cross ice. They're into the Rampage zone on the far side. Held up. White makes a check. Sarver comes, picks it up on the near side wall. He's going to skate with it. He's out of the zone, feeds it up to Whitted. Whitted into the zone with it. Sends a shot. Looking for a pad pass, but had a little too much elevation. The goaltender has it in his glove. He's going to hang on. 4:43 left in period number 1. Out on the ice. Sarver, Whitted, Drexel, Bisley, and Espirito. Rampage win the draw. Gets chipped down into the corner, down low. Knights send it around to the far side. Espirito pinching in. Drexel holds it to the point. Just fans on the attempt to send it in. Knights coming back the other way. Gets poked to the near side corner. Bisley goes in chasing it. Gets tied up down low. Up to Sarver. Sarver chips it up out of the zone. He's going to give chase. Knights chip it back the other direction. A little bit of back and forth. Knights are back into the, puck back out to neutral. And Sarver's going to send it deep and go for a change. Knights goaltender holds it up. He's going to send it up the near side wall. Knights turn with it. Skating out of their zone to neutral ice. Take the red line, and they're going to chip it in to the netting. So with 3:55 left in period number 1, I believe we're going to have a face-off at the center dot. Out on the ice, we've got Foster, Roberts, Rahosian, Bennett, and Fuhrer. The player was actually on the other side of the red line. This absolutely should go to the center dot, but it's going to come just outside the Rampage zone. But if puck drop placement is the only thing I have to complain about today with the refs, we'll be doing good. But the game's still early. Puck into the Knight zone, and we get a whistle for icing. Rahosian just can't quite get there in time. Faceoff will be back in the Rampage zone. 3:46 left in period number 1. Same crew out as before. Knights try to take a shot off a body, ends up on the far wall. Over to the top of the circle, shot taken, goes up and over. It's going to end up on the far wall again. Knights close it at the point, send it back behind the Rampage net. Fuhrer gets there. He's on the near side, off the boards, up and out. Rahosian turns with it, tries to leave it for Roberts. Roberts pokes, checks it, centers the pass, and nobody home. Knights get there. They send it up to neutral ice. And White is going to wrangle it in, up the boards, looking for Roberts. Roberts turns and flips it into the zone. He's going to go to the bench for a change. Knights have it deep in their own zone. They're going to turn, recollect, see what they have to work with. Pass up. Freitas gets a stick on it. And now Knights are going to recollect. White sends the puck right back out again. Freitas for Whittingham. Whittingham sends it to the far corner. Freitas goes in looking for it, ties things up on the boards on the far side. Dormer comes in to help out. Dump it down low. Whittingham gets tied up in the corner on the far side. Puck comes up the boards. Knights turn with it. Through neutral ice. Into the Rampage zone. Poke check is going to send it down low into the corner. Puck comes out. Bouncing around out front. Shot taken. Shields with the save. Another shot. Shields with the save. And I think the ref lost sight of it. And we get a whistle. And we'll have a face-off in the Rampage zone. 2:25 left in period number 1. Out on the ice, we've got Bennett, Espirito, Judkins, Banyan, and Flanagan. Tied up on the draw. It's in the pile. Knights tried to turn with it. Puck goes to the far wall. It's tied up on the far wall for a second. Knights skate off with it. Ends up on the near side wall. Puck down low. Espirito sends it back up the boards. Flanagan turns, sends it out, but not out of the zone. Excuse me. Bennett turns, sends a stretch pass. Knights break up the pass, and Banyan can't quite get a stick on it. Knights send it back into their own zone, attempt to regroup. Up the board on the far side, off the wall, and now Banyan goes to the far wall. He turns, sends it, and it goes off the stanchion in the corner, which is out of play. 1:43 left in period number 1. Out on the ice, we've got Whitted, Drexel, Sarver, Fewer, and White. And they're going to take this one back to just outside the Rampage zone. So again, incorrect placement based on, inconsistent placement based on the last one at neutral ice. Knights win the draw. Send it over to the near side. It's into the Rampage zone down low. Knights back behind the Rampage net with it. Work the wall on the far side. Goes towards Shields. He makes a save. Puck ends up on the near side wall now. Knights pull it off the wall. Skate out to center. Shot taken. Shields with the save. Puck down low in the corner. Knights skate up the far wall. To the point. Lose the handle, and then they're going to dump it in behind the Rampage net. Change of direction and back again. Centering pass, and Drexel is in the way of the pass. The Knights try to take a shot. Drexel clears it out to neutral ice. They're back into the Rampage zone on the far wall. Shot taken, Shields with a save. And we get a stoppage. We'll have a face-off in the Rampage zone and a change of line. 54 seconds left in period number 1. On the ice, we've got Rahosian, Espirito, Bisley, Roberts, and Foster. Rampage win the draw. Send it to the near side. Knights are going to keep it in the zone. Send it back behind the Rampage net to the far corner. Rahosian up the wall. Doesn't have much on it. Knights turn it back around. Send it across to the near side. Puck bouncing around. Espirito sends it over to the far side. And it comes up to the point but not out of the zone. Knights turn it around. Send it back to the far wall. Boots in the way, and now Foster's going to turn and fire it, and that goes off the ceiling and out of play. So the faceoff will be back in the Rampage zone with 27 seconds left in period number 1. On the ice, we've got Dormer, Freitas, Whittingham, joined by Bennett and Fewer. Puck goes back behind the net. Bennett turns with it, sends it up the boards, looking for Dormer. Knights turn it back around. It bounces through, and then Bennett's going to send it back to Freitas. Freitas turns and chips it into the Knight zone. It's going to give chase. Just 10 seconds left in the period. Whittingham tries to tie things up down low. Dormer comes in to help out, centers the pass up to Freitas. Freitas takes a shot. Goaltender makes a save. Knights regain the puck, and time expires on period number 1. So your score after 1 is 1-0 in favor of the Northstar Christian Academy Knights. The goal scored on a power play early-ish in the period. And generally, we're playing too much time in our own end of the ice. We need to be pressuring the puck more in their end of the ice. We knew these guys were going to be good. We got to keep it tight and disrupt some of their playmaking ability and then create some of our own. So hopefully we'll dial it up a little bit and keep battling. Yes, and the feedback I'm getting from my expert analysts, which are very astute and I completely agree with, strongly agree for Aaron Drexel watching at home, is that we need to do a better job of slowing this game down a little bit. This Knights team, they're very fast, they're very skilled, and we knew it was going to be a battle, and we need to work on slowing them down, slowing the game down a little bit. So if we have lots of stoppages, that's just fine. Need to minimize their opportunities the best we can. Out on the ice to start period number 2, we've got Shields in net. We've got Fewer, Bennett, Sarver, Whitted, and Drexel. Oh, thanks. Knights win the draw. They're into the Rampage zone on the far side. Changed my period marker there. Up to the point, sitting down low, bounces right out front. Player can't get a stick on it. It looks like the net came off. This puck drop, sponsored by whatever company makes the pegs for hockey nets. They've had a lot of stoppages doing the net coming off this weekend. Tied up on the draw. It's in the mix, and then it gets a stick on it. The puck goes back into the corner. Fewer sends it up the wall on the near side. Bounces just out of the zone, and Drexel sends it up to Whitted. Whitted's into the zone, looking for Sarver. Over to Sarver. Sarver makes a move. Goaltender makes a save. Nice play, and maybe our best opportunity of the day so far. Knights back into the Rampage zone on the far side. Drexel picks it up behind. Sends it up, it bounces out of the zone. Knights regain the puck. They're going to turn with it, back into the Rampage zone with it. And then Drexel with the takeaway, feeds it up for Sarver. Sarver back to Drexel. Drexel's into the zone. Knights poke it and come back the other way. Knights with a little bit of room in the Rampage zone, taken. Shields with the save, and he's going to bounce out and cover it up. Excellent save by Shields on the breakaway attempt. 16:50 left in period number 2. Out on the ice, we've got Whittingham, Dormer, Bisley, White, and Freitas. Back into the corner. Bisley sends it over to White on the far side. White sends it up the boards. Knights keep it in the zone. It's going to come back to the near side, and Bisley sends it up and out of the zone. Knights turn it around. They're back in the Rampage zone. Knights on the far wall. Send the pass. It doesn't connect. It's going to come back into the Knights zone. Knights will get there first. They turn and send it. It doesn't connect, and that is icing. So we get a whistle. Face-off feedback in the Knights zone with 16:22 left in period number 2. Out on the ice, we've got Espirito, Banyan, Flanagan, Judkins, and Bennett. Rampage win the draw. Desperito tries to send it down the near side wall. It's tied up on the wall. Knights are going to collect and clear it out. Then it poke checks it back into the zone where the Knights will recollect. Over to the near side, cross ice to the far side, bounces up to Bennett. He's going to flip it up in the air the other way. Knights knock it down. They skate it into the Rampage zone. Quick move, shot taken, Shields with a save. Puck bounces up to the blue line, but not out. Knights turn it around on the near side. They're going to dump it down into the corner. Espirito feeds it over to the far side, poked up to Flanagan. Flanagan makes a move off the wall, sends it over to Espirito. Espirito, the near side, he's going to send it just into the zone, and then Knights poke check it, turn it back around. Banyan back to Judkins. Judkins over to Bennett. And then Flanagan's going to dump it in. He's going to go for a change. Knights collect back behind their net. Stretch pass, trying to catch the Rampage on a change. They're into the zone. Quick move out front. Shields has to make a save. Puck into the near side, up to the point on the near side. Out to the far point. Shot, and Shields has to make another save. Puck bounces out front. Sticks in the way, and then Foster is going to clear it. This doesn't have enough ricing. Play will continue. Knights grab it in their own zone. Send it up, deflect it off of the stick. White has to pull it out of the air and then send it up towards Foster. Knights regain the puck. It is in the Knights zone on the near side wall. Held in the zone momentarily. Rahojan comes into the point. Tied up on the near side wall. It's going to come up and out of the zone now. White sends it back the other way. Knights regain the puck in their zone. And then they are at neutral ice into the Rampage zone on the far side. Centering pass gets broken up, and now it's going to bounce down low behind the Rampage net. Comes to the near side. Knights send it up the wall to the point on the near side. The shot gets redirected, and Shields has to cover it up. So we get a stoppage. 14:21 left in period number 2. Out on the ice, we've got Sarver, Whitted, Drexel, Espirito, and Bisley. Tied up on the draw. Knights send it up to the point on the near side. Body's in the way. Whitted's going to pick it up, sends it across, looking for Sarver. Sarver has to wrangle it in, sends it into the Knights zone. Whitted on the wall, sends it back behind the Knights net. Puck comes up and out of the zone. It was off of the Rampage, so play will continue. There will be no icing. Bisley picks it up behind his net, changes direction, drops it for Espirito. Espirito off the wall for Sarver. Sarver turns with it. He's across the red line. Over to Bisley. Bisley sends it in towards the net. Goaltender makes the save. It ends up on the far wall. Bennett chips it in. Sarver in there doing battle down low in the far corner. Whitted comes in to help out. The Knights are going to send it up the near side wall. Still in the Knights zone. To the far corner. Knights change direction and send it into the near corner. A couple Rampage players going for a change. Knights turn with it. They chip it into the zone. It doesn't connect, and that is icing. So we get a whistle. We'll have a face-off back in the Knights zone. 13:18 left in period number 2. On the ice, we've got Dormer, Whittingham, Friedis, Bennett, and Fewer. Tied up on the draw. Knights send it up the near side wall. Out to center ice. Into the Rampage zone. Sent to the far side. Bounces towards Shields. He makes a save. Puck ends up in the far corner. Centering pass. Shot goes up and over and ends up on the near wall. The centering pass. Knights try to wrangle it in. And now it's going to come up to the blue line. Stay in the zone. Bennett sends it off the wall out to neutral ice up to Friedis. Friedis is into the Knights zone. Backhands it across to the near side. Whittingham's going to get there. Fires it towards the goaltender. Goes back behind. Friedis picks it up. Skates to the near side corner. Back down to Whittingham. Whittingham turns with it. Sends it over to Dormer. Back to Whittingham. And shot goes off the side of the net. And I believe the net came off. So once again, this stoppage sponsored by pegs.com. Yeah, seriously. I mean, the goalie's got to be able to make a move. It's not like it's, yeah. And we have had the problem a lot this weekend with the net coming off anytime the goalie just tries to make a save. Out on the ice, we've got Judkins, Banyan, Flanagan, Visley, and White. Knights win the draw. They're going to skate to the far side in their zone, send it up and out. Back into Rampage zone. Visley sends it up the wall on the near side, comes out to neutral ice. Knights with it at neutral ice, tied up on the near side boards. Flanagan chips it off the wall. Judkins sends it into the Knight zone on the near side. Knights clear up into the Rampage bench. Heads up, everyone. 12:02 left in period number 2. Face-off in the Knights zone. Out on the ice, we've got Flanagan, Judkins, Banyan, Esperito, and Bennett. Puck down low back behind the net. Banyan with the takeaway keeps it low in the Knights zone. And then Flanagan doing battle down low. He's got Banyan in there to help him out. Puck tied up in the corner. Flanagan gets a stick on it, sends it up. Knights are going to take it away, skate it out of the zone. Into the Rampage zone on the near side. Move. Shot goes off of a boot and ends up in the far corner. Judkins tries to pick it up behind his net. Knights are going to poke check it. And then Banyan skates down into the corner and sends it to the far wall. Banyan sends it up and clears the zone, and then Knights have to tag up. Flanagan picks up the puck. He's into the Knight zone with it, skates to the far side, feeds it towards the goaltender. Goalie turns it aside. It ends up behind the Knights net. Knights pick it up. They skate out of the zone into neutral ice. Send it to the near side. Shot goes towards the net. Shields with the save. Puck ends up on the near side wall. Knights send it down low. They're going to give chase and skate it to the far side. Drop it at the wall. White with the poke check. He sends it up to neutral ice just outside the reach of Roberts. Puck comes back into the Rampage zone. White's going to get there on the far side wall. Sends it up to neutral ice. And Knights flip it back in. They tag up. White sends it across to Fuhrer. Fuhrer sends it up the wall. Knights pinching at the wall, keep it in the zone. Now it's going to come up and out. Knights tag up. They're going to send it across to the far side. And off the stick, and it's going to bounce into the Rampage zone. Fuhrer gets it behind his own net. Changes direction, sends it to the near side corner where White sends it up but not out. Knights hold it at the blue line. Sent across to the far wall. Foster tries to tie things up. He's got Fuhrer in there to help out. Puck ends up down low in the corner. Fuhrer doing battle. Looks like the Knights are going to skate up the wall with it. Still battling for the puck. It ends up down low behind the Rampage net. Fuhrer is in there doing battle, trying to keep things tied up. He's got Foster waiting nearby. Knights skate up the far side wall, send it across the near side point. Shot taken, bodies in the way. Rahosen, who is building a name for himself in eating shots, eats another shot. Puck gets cleared. It is icing. We get a whistle. Face-off will be back in the Rampage zone. 9:41 left in period number 2. Getting pretty close to ice cut time. Out on the ice, we've got Whitted, Sarver, Drexel, Bisley, and Esperito. Tied up on the draw. Still a big pile waiting for the puck. And Drexel pulls it out of the pile. He's going to chip it out of the zone. Drexel gets there first. He's got Sarver in the far side. Sauce is over looking for Sarver. Oh, just can't quite get a stick on it. Puck ends up in the far corner. Knights coming back the other direction. They're through neutral. They're into the Rampage zone. Send it out to the far or the near side wall. Excuse me. Puck held up on the wall. Battle for the puck down low. Knights hold it up. Send it up to the near side point. Sauce it across. A quick poke check, and then it's going to come up and out of the zone. Drexel wrangles it in. Takes the red line. He's into the Knights zone. He's going to send it deep and then turn around and go for a change. Knights recollect back behind their net. Through neutral, into the Rampage zone with it. Player blows a tire, and then Dormer's going to pick up the puck, skates to the far side, has to try to wrangle it in, changes direction, and feeds it over looking for Bennett. And it scoots to the near side, backhands it up to Winningham, who's going to clear the zone. Knight send it across to the far side. Shot taken, Shields with the save. Winningham sends it off the boards, up and out, and that's going to clear. Goaltender's going to play it. And then little back and forth right here on the wall at neutral ice, up to Espirito. Espirito turns, sends it, that's going to be icing. We get a whistle. And with 8:16 left in period number 2, we will get a stoppage for an ice cut. So when we come back, the faceoff will be in the Rampage zone. Currently, score is 1-0 in favor of the Northstar Christian Academy Knights. And yeah, like I said, we'll come back for the faceoff in the Rampage zone. Overall, I'd say the boys have been battling hard. We knew that this team was going to be very good coming into this game. And the boys are giving it their all. They're battling hard. I'd like to see us create a little bit more on the offensive opportunities, but we have had a few. And I'm going to give my voice a rest for about 10 minutes or so. We'll get a nice cut, and we'll see you guys back afterward. All right, folks, welcome back as we get ready to start the second half of the second period. Face-off will be in the Rampage zone following the icing that blew the whistle or blew the play dead. And I feel it important to remind everybody watching at home that this is a family show, and I say some dumb stuff sometimes that I usually make up on the spot. And please, please do not attempt to go visit kegs.com or anything related to that. And if you aren't sure why, then we'll have an offline conversation about what I intentionally said. Out on the ice, we've got Sarver, Whitted, Drexel, Mueller, White, and Bennett. Rampage win the draw up off the boards. It comes through. Play will continue on net. The goaltender sends it up to the near side. Knights send it back across through neutral territory out to the far side of the Rampage zone. Centering and a shot. Shields with a save. Secondary shot. Shields with another save. Puck out to the near side quarter. Whitted sends it up the boards. Doesn't get much on it. Knights turn it around. Feed it back. Puck bouncing around. It's going to end up in the far corner. Bennett sends it up the wall. And it's going to bounce out to neutral territory. Knights send it back in, but they have to tag up. Bennett recollects in his zone. Sends it across to the near side of Fuhrer. Fuhrer up looking for Sarver. Knights come back the other direction. They're in a Rampage zone. Lose the handle. It goes into the far corner. Puck is very sticky. The ice is very sticky. Whitted with the takeaway sends it up to the blue line, but not out. Knights send it back down the near side wall. Centering pass. Puck is still bouncing around. Knights try to center it. Whitted picks it up, sends it, and he's going to clear it. That's on net. Play will continue. Rampage going for a change. Knights defenseman comes up, sends it up and out of the zone to the near side wall. Knights are in to the Rampage zone on the near side. Drive down into the corner. Centering pass gets broken up and ends up on the far wall. Knights have it at the point on the far side. A deflected shot ends up on the near wall. Whittingham flips it up in the air, clears the zone with it. Knights have to come back into their own zone for it. A couple of Rampage players going for a change. Tied up down low in the corner, Whittingham and Freitas are in the mix. Whittingham sends it right out front. Homer just sends it wide of the net, waiting on the back door. That was maybe our second excellent opportunity of the game so far. Nice pressure by this line that's currently out there. Knights coming back the other way. They're going to send it across the near side. Puck gets shipped out to the near side wall. Centering pass. Whittingham has it on a stick. He's going to turn with it. Sends it up to Dormer. Dormer's into the zone with it on the far side. Drops it for Whittingham. Whittingham down low. Sends it out front. Comes across to Bisley. Bisley sends it down the wall. Whittingham back behind the net. Dormer tries to feed it out front. And we get a stoppage. I believe the net came off again. Good flurry of offensive activity on that last shift and a half there. So 5:54 left in period number 2. Face-off in the Knights zone. Out on the ice, we've got Flanagan, Banyan, Espirito, Judkins, and Bennett. Rampage win the draw up to the point. Espirito sends it down the wall, into the corner. Knights are going to skate it off the wall, out of the zone, into neutral ice. They kick it out to the near side and then send it towards Shields, who turns it aside into the far corner. Knights turn with it on the wall, take a shot that deflects off a stick up into the netting and out of play. So 5 minutes and 30 seconds left in period number 2. We'll have a face-off in the Rampage zone. Same crew out as before. Knights win the draw, turn, and fire it to the near side corner. They drive it back behind the Rampage net, send it up to the point on the far side. Pass comes through, doesn't quite make it. Shot goes up and over and ends up on the far wall. And then Flanagan's going to chip it up and out of the zone. Knights come back for it. They're going to regroup in their own zone with it. Send a stretch pass across to the near side. Centering pass gets broken up, and Knights recollect on the bounce, and we get a hand pass whistle. So 5:06 left in period number 2, and the faceoff should come outside the Rampage zone. On the ice, we've got Rahojian, Foster, Roberts, White, and Fuhrer. Knights win the draw. They're going to send it across to the far side. Skated up into the Rampage zone on the far side wall. Shot taken. Shields with the save. Still loose, and now he's going to cover it up, and we do eventually get a whistle. And I think we would have had a faster whistle, but the ref got all tangled up with one of the players from the Knights team. 4:56 left in period number 2. We're going to face off in the Rampage zone. Same group out as before. Tied up on the draw. White pulls it out of the pile. He's going to skate back behind his net. Sends it off the boards. Foster's into the zone. Foster centers the pass, looking for Roberts, just didn't quite connect. Fewer blows a tire, and then it manages to change direction back the other way. Foster applies a big hit. Puck still stuck at neutral ice right now. Bounces into the Rampage zone. White gets there. He's going to skate it to the near side. White takes the red line, and he's going to dump it in hard into the Knights zone. Knights send the puck up and out to neutral territory. Bisley has to come back for it. Sends it off the wall. Knights coming back the other way. Bisley chips it back the other way. Knights send it across to the far side, into the Rampage zone on the far side. Puck up against the far wall. It's going to go down low into the corner. Espirito changes direction, sends it back up the wall, up to Roberts. Knights make a move, send the pass across, and the player just couldn't quite wrangle it in. Espirito sends it up to the point. Knights send it back down the wall. It's going to go to the far side corner. Roberts gets there. He's going to send it up to the blue line, but not out. Knights turn it back around. Body's in the way. Bounces to the near side wall. Back down the wall on the near side. Fed back behind the net. It's going to rim around to the far corner. Bounces back down low. Knights regain the puck. Send a pass out to center. Roberts is going to turn and clear. We'll get a whistle for icing and a chance to change a pretty tired line that got stuck out there for a little while. 3 minutes and 20 seconds left in period number 2. On the ice, we've got Whitted, Sarver, Drexel, Bennett, and Fewer. Tied up on the draw. There's a pile up, and the puck comes to the near side wall. Bennett tries to send it up. Bounces on Drexel, but comes out of the zone. Knights turn around, come back the other way. Into the zone on the far side. They pick it up, skate to the near side. And a shot taken goes up and over and comes to the near side wall. Knights skated in. Send a shot. Shields makes the save. It ends up out front. Shields is going to cover up. We get a little extracurricular after the whistle. Because we had players on top of Ryder Shields, and our players taking exception to that. Yeah. 2 minutes and 53 seconds left in period number 2. We're going to face off in the Rampage zone. Out on the ice, we've got Freitas, Whittingham, Bisley, Dormer, and White. White's pick up the puck, send it towards Shields, who turns it aside to the far corner. Skate out front, and then Dormer's going to wrangle the puck in, sends it over to Whittingham. Whittingham's out of the zone, looking for Dormer. Rampage are offside on their way into the zone, so they have to turn around and tag up. Knights coming back the other direction. They're into the Rampage zone with it. Puck comes back out to the far side. Shot taken, Shields with the save. Dormer gets a stick on the puck. He drives it into the far corner, turns, looks, flips it up in the air, out of the zone. It comes out, and the Knights were offside, so they had to wait, couldn't touch it. Knights with the puck in their own zone now, turn back around the other way. Into the Rampage zone on the far side. Shot taken. And 2:06 left in period number 2. The Knights are going to go up by a score of 2-0. Quick transition, player had a little bit too much room. Into the zone, puts a shot in the far corner, and Knights go up 2-0. Boys are still battling, and they still have a little ways to go. Out on the ice, we've got Foster, Judkins, Banyan, Bennett, and Espirito. Puck comes to the near side wall, tied up at neutral ice. Knights send it across to the far side. They're into the Rampage zone. Chip it down the wall, back behind the net. Knights turn with it. Shot off of a body. Goes out to the far side wall. Comes out front. Bennett recollects. Sends it to Foster. Foster tries to send it over to Banyan, and he's going to recollect and then dump it into the Knights zone. Knights send it across, goes off of a skate and into the Rampage zone. White behind his net sends it up the near side wall. Bounces off the wall out to center, and then it ends up back on the near wall. Put down low in the corner, up to the near side point. Shot, body's in the way, it falls down, and White is going to recollect. Skates to the far side, off the wall, out to neutral ice. That one doesn't connect, but there was a player there to play it. I actually thought that should have been waved off. But we get a whistle for icing with just under a minute left to go in the second period. Faceoff will be back in the Rampage zone. On the ice, we've got Drexel, Sarver, Whitted, Bisley, and White. Tied up on the draw, back into the corner. White sends it up. Sarver's going to chip it out. Drexel giving chase on the forecheck. Knights have it in their own zone, back behind the net. Up the near side wall. Knights are going to clear it out to neutral. They're into the Rampage zone. Quick poke check sends it out to the wall, but not out of the zone. White on the near side, up to Drexel, off his stick, and it comes out to neutral ice. Knights turning back around, back into the zone, offside. 33 seconds left in period number 2. We're going to face off outside the Rampage zone. Knights win the draw. They're going to come back into the Rampage zone on the far side. Back behind the Rampage net. Centering pass out front. It's bouncing around. Shields is going to cover it up. 22 seconds left in the period. And we're going to get a change of forwards on the ice. We've got Freitas, Whittingham, Dormer to join Espirito and Bennett. Rampage win the draw back in the corner. Espirito sends it up the boards, but not out. Whittingham tries to get a stick on it. And now Espirito is going to clear. Whittingham sends it into the Knight zone, the far corner. Freitas goes in down low. Gets tied up in the corner. Whittingham's in there as well. So is Dormer. Puck bouncing around. Ends up on the far wall. 2 seconds. 1 second. And time expires on period number 2. So your score after 2 is 2-0, and it does look like we have a penalty, but I didn't. Was it against the Knights? Did you see? Okay. Somebody got a penalty right at the end of the period, and we think it may be a Knights player, but we're still a little bit unclear. It does look like it's a Knights player for holding right at the end of the period. So if we correctly saw what we think we saw, the Rampage are going to start on the power play for period number 3. And I am going to try to remember to advance the little period marker on the camera here to 3 for some reason. My fingers aren't working with the iPad today. I think that's just the one that the refs use in the interim. Um, 18 minutes up on the board. We do, in fact, have a penalty up for the Knights, so the Rampage will be starting period number 3 on the power play for the first time this game. You know, a couple of things that I mentioned at the onset of this game is that we were going to have to play a tough game and try to stay out of the box. And for the most part, the Rampage boys have done a pretty good job of that today. So we knew this was going to be a very tough team to play against, very skilled, and so I'm happy with what I've seen out of the boys so far through 2 periods. I mean, we do need to be clearing it out a little bit more. We do need to be creating a few more offensive opportunities, but everybody is working hard, and sometimes that is the best you can hope for. Out on the ice to start period number 3 on the power play, we've got Whittingham, Banyan, Dormer, Freitas, and White. Knights win the draw, lose the handle, and then Freitas is going to pick it up. He drives down the wall on the far side, puck down low in the corner. Knights turn, they're going to clear it. Dormer coming back for it. He's going to send it over to White on the near side. White back behind his net. Up the near side to Dormer. Dormer skates up the wall. He's into the Knight zone. Looking for Whittingham, and now White's going to send it down low for Freitas. Freitas across, looking for White, doesn't connect. It comes up out of the zone. White sends it back across for Freitas. Freitas wrangles it back in. He's going to turn, makes a move to the outside. He's going to poke check it, and then Knights have the puck back. They send a stretch pass up, back into the Rampage zone. Dormer comes back for it. He's got a player on. He gives it to Bennett. Bennett turns, sends it up, looking for Drexel. Doesn't connect. Now the puck bouncing around at neutral ice. Knights coming back the other way, down the near side wall. Tied up down low in the corner. Banyan sends it to the far corner, has to go after. He's got a couple Knights players on him. We're playing in the wrong zone for this being a power play. Puck comes back to Bennett. 45 seconds left on the power play for the Rampage boys. Bennett skates to the near side, sends it up to Sarver. Sarver dumps it into the zone. Knights come back. They're going to get there first. They send it up and through and back into the Rampage zone with it. Whitted has to come back behind his net. He's going to turn with it. Comes skating out, feeds it over, looking for Drexel. Sarver turns and dumps it into the zone. Drexel gives chase. Whitted also gives chase. Up the wall to Sarver at the point. Sarver over to Bisley. Bisley back to Sarver. Sarver turns, feeds it over to Drexel. Chips it back, and it's going to come out of the zone. Bisley turns with it. Sends it in, and then Knights are going to clear it. And Knights have a step. They've got a breakaway opportunity. Send the puck up into the netting and out of play. He sent it untouched into the netting and out of play. That face-off should come out of the zone, but it's not going to. Just 2 seconds left on the power play, 16:02, and Rampage. Face-off in the Rampage zone is what I'm trying to say. On the ice, we've got Roberts, Rahosian, Foster, Espirito, and Bisley. Out to the wall. Bisley sends it up the wall, out to neutral ice, and the Knights are back at full strength. Roberts picks it up, sends it behind the net. Espirito sends it back the other way. Bisley picks it up on the far side. Up the wall to Rahosian. Comes up and not out. Knights send a shot from the blue line. Shields has it in his glove. He's going to hang on. 15:42 left in period number 3. Face off in the Rampage zone. Out on the ice, we've got Whittingham, Freitas, Dormer, Fewer, and White. Chipped up to the point, but not out. Knights holding at the point on the far wall. White sends it up looking for Whittingham. Whittingham's up out of the zone. Knights with it at neutral ice. Send it across to the near side. They're into the Rampage zone. Whittingham up and out. Dormer chips it in the zone. He's going to give chase. Dormer for Whittingham behind the back. Just can't quite wrangle it in. Puck on the near side wall. It's all tied up in the Knight zone. Knights skate off the wall with it. They turn. Send it across to the far side. Out to neutral ice. And now the Knights are going to send it to the near side wall. Flanagan applying pressure on the forecheck. Knights up the near wall. Bounces through. It's into the Rampage zone. Bennett has to rush back. He's got a couple players on him. Puck comes up to the near side wall. Knights send it up. It comes out of the zone. They have to tag up. Knights back into the Rampage zone. Ends up on the far wall. Tied up on the far wall. And then White's going to flip it up in the air. Clear the zone with it. That does not have enough icing. Play will continue. Knights pick it up in their own zone. Send it up the near side wall. Little back and forth at neutral ice, and now Flanagan backhands it into the Knights zone. Knights send it up the near side wall. Off the boards to the far side. Up and through. Espirito turns it around, looking for Sarver. Sarver has to wrangle it in, turn it around, takes the red line. He's going to dump it in and give chase. Knights send it to the far side. Up the far boards. It's going to come up and out of the zone. Espirito gets a boot in the way, and now Knights recollect. They're back into the Rampage zone with it. Driven down low, back behind the net. Fewer sends it up the boards on the far side. Knights send it in from the point. Body's in the way. Whitted recollects, makes a move, turns with it. He's going to skate it out of the zone, send it across to Sarver. Sarver's going to dump it into the zone. Drexel giving chase on the far side. Puck comes up the boards on the far side. Out to Fewer. Fewer turns around. He's going to dump it back into the Knight zone. Drexel giving chase on the forecheck. The rest of the Rampage getting a change. Drexel with the steal is going to keep it in the zone momentarily. Roberts looking for it on the near side wall. Gets stuck on the wall. Knights coming back the other way. They send a stretch pass across to the far side. Made a move down back behind the Rampage net. It's going to come to the near side. Roberts flips it up in the air and out of the zone. So we get a stoppage with 12:54 left in period number 3. We'll have a face-off in the Rampage zone. On the ice, we've got Roberts, Foster, Bisley, Rahojan, and Bennett. Tied up. Roberts is going to send it up, and now Rahojan wrangles it in. Skates it outside of the zone. He's going to backhand it into the Knight zone now. Knight's goaltender holds it up, looking for his defenseman. Roberts in on the forecheck. Sends it to the near side. And now Knights send it to the far side. Into neutral ice, and now into the Rampage zone. Actually gets poke-checked and held up. Rahojan coming back the other way. Makes a move to the near side. Takes the red line. Just loses the handle, and now the Knights are going to send it back into the Rampage zone. White collects. Sends it off the boards looking for Roberts. Roberts backhands it in the zone. He's going to go for a change. Dormer in on the forecheck. Knights into the far side. Quick loss. Whittingham has it on a stick. Tries a backhand shot. Body's in the way. Puck bouncing around. Doesn't make it through to the goaltender. Knights coming back the other direction. They're on the far side into the Rampage zone now. Puck ends up in the near corner. Dormer turns with it. He's going to skate to the far side. He's got a player on. Dormer sends it off the boards. It bounces through. It's into the Knight zone. White is the first one there to apply pressure on the forecheck. Knights player blows a tire behind his net, recollects the puck, and now the puck is coming up on the near side boards. Out to center. Knights into the Rampage zone. They hold up at the point. Now they center the pass, and it gets knocked back down and ends up behind the net. White sends it up the boards on the far side. It gets redirected out of the zone. It's going to be on net. Play will continue. Flanagan in on the forecheck. Knights clear it out to neutral ice. They're going to dump it hard into the Rampage zone. It's going to rim around the far side corner. Puck bounces out front. Shot goes wide of the net. Ends up in the near side corner. Tied up down low. It's got Judkins and Fewer in there. Knights are going to skate it out to the far side. Banyan tries to send it up the boards, and the Knights turn it around a little bit, bouncing back and forth, and now it gets chipped up and not quite out, and now it gets cleared.
collects.
That's not
momentarily,
interference.
And then Drexel sends a shot. Goaltender makes a save. Puck down low in the corner. Server comes in to help out. A couple of Knights players in there too. Puck goes to the far corner. Whitted in there to do battle with the Knights player. Whitted sends it up to Few. Good grief, I'm getting all tongue-tied. Can't even say my own last name. Whitted sends it in from the far near side wall. Puck goes around to the far side, up and out of the zone. Few reflects. He's got to turn it around. Turn around. Puck runs him around. And then Drexel's going to look for that. He needs to move towards the wall. Off the wall. Server's going to tries to send it in his zone, and now he does so. It stays inside the glass. Rampage getting a change. Comes up and out of the zone. Try to recollect. Puck gets chipped up into the stands, and one lucky fan has themselves face off be just outside the right zone. So we've got Roberts, Foster, Rampage, Bennett, and Bisley. Absolutely, face off is going to go into the net zone. Tries to take a shot, bodies in the way. He sends it down low back behind the net. Roberts gets in there, tries to send it out front. Backhand attempt, and the puck doesn't go over. Knight's coming back the other way.
Is that not offside?
Dump it in. Bowman tries to get there behind the net. Things get tied up back behind. We've got Freitas and Bowman in there. A couple of Knights players. They're going to send it up the wall on the far side. Knights are up the top of the zone. Knights go up by 3. Bennett off the wall. It's in the Knights zone. Knights send it back out again. I don't know who's in there.
Shields came out of the net.
Mike's off.
It's just background noise.
That's because it got turned off a bit. My battery's dead. All right, folks. Sorry about that. I think my battery went dead on my microphone. So back with you. A little bit of back and forth action. That neutral ice. White's going to set up the wall for Sarver. Sarver chips it into the zone. Puck deep into the zone. Drexel on the forecheck. White's coming back on the near side. Out of the zone. Three neutral ice. Into the Rampage zone on the near side. Up to the near side. White's going to the hard side wall. I'm going to try to stand a little bit closer to the iPad so you guys can hear me okay.
Do you want that?
Yeah, that's okay. Thank you. I can't charge. Yeah. I'll take a look here and see if I can plug it back in. Thanks. Bouncing around out front. Knight's recollect that. And then it gets poked out to neutral ice. Knight's recollect. Server on the forecheck. They're going to make a move to the outside wall. The near side wall. Into the zone. White sends it up and out to neutral ice where Knights have to recollect and tag up. It's in the Rampage zone. Cross to the far side. Knights back into their own zone with it up the near side wall. Cross to the far side. Knights still with the puck. And then Fewer with the takeaway sends it hard off the glass. It's going to go the distance. We're going to see pricing. Face off in the Rampage zone. We get a chance to get some first skaters on the ice at 5:48. Left in here, 3.
All right, we're going to try the microphone again. Puck down in the near side corner. Bennett's in there to do battle, tie things up. Puck comes up to Rahosian. He's going to turn with it. Feeds it up, looking for Foster. Knights with a poke check, and now Roberts is going to backhand it into the zone. Rampage have to tag up. Knights regroup behind their net. Send it to the near side. They're up the near side wall. Off the wall, and then Foster's going to change directions, send it back into the Knight zone. Knights back to the near side wall. Whittingham drives it down into the corner. Whittingham out front. Knights with a stick check, or back into the corner. I need some rest today, apparently. Knights into the Rampage zone on the near side wall. Bennett sends it around to the far side. Busily up the far wall to Foster. Knights send the puck back the other way. Bennett's going to skate with it. Makes a move. Knights back into the Rampage zone. Puck bounces across to the far side where the Knights send it down the board on the far side. Shot ends up in the corner, up the wall and out of the zone. Banyan and Freitas giving chase. Knights knock it up out of the zone to neutral ice, and Dormer with a big hit right outside the Knight zone. White's going to pick it up. He turns around, coming back into the Knight zone with it. Knights pick it up deep in their zone, back behind the net. They're going to skate to the far side. Up the wall and out to neutral ice. Esperito over looking for Dormer. It's going to deflect off a stick into the Knight zone. Knights have it back. It bounces, just unable to clear, and now they're going to do so. Across the red line, into the Rampage zone on the near wall. Off the wall, turn, shot, goes up and over, ends up in the far wall. It's going to bounce up and out. So
a couple of Rampage players going for a change. Out of the zone. Knight's goaltender comes out to play it. Drexel knocks it down and stays in the zone. Drexel pulls it off the wall, feeds it across for Judkins. Judkins takes a shot off of the body. Puck bounces out front. Drexel turns around, tries to feed it back down low. Judkins recollects. Puck is behind the Knights net. Up to Fewer at the point. Fewer takes a shot. Flanagan attempts to redirect. It goes wide of the net. Knights recollect. Sends it out front. Knights with a breakaway on the start pass. Spar's getting a change. Knights pick up the puck on the near wall. Send it up the
Another
wall.
pass.
Comes through. Hosian turns with it. Tries to send it over. Doesn't get much on the wall. Knights will handle it. And send the shot just right up to the blue line. Goes right to the far side. The Hosian tries to send it up, and now Flanagan clears the zone. Flanagan pins against the board. The Hosian pushes it into the Knights zone. Knights turn around coming back the other way. White has a puck on his stick returning. He plays it up to Roberts. Off of his stick, and the Knights are going to recollect. Back up the near sidewall. White coming through. He's going to drive it into the Knight zone. Trip White sends the pass across, looking for Foster. Just behind him, the puck's going to come out of the zone. Hosian takes a big hit from behind into the boards, and we do have a whistle. So with 1:41 left in period number 3, we are going to have our second power play of the game. Pretty good big hit from behind. So Rampage will finish this game on the power play. Out on the ice to start the PP team, we've got Whittingham, Freitas, Dormer, Bennett, and White. Freitas comes out of the pipe, but then he turns, feeds it up to Dormer. Dormer on the far wall, skates up to the point, sends it across to Bennett. Bennett skates down low, he's back behind the Knights net. Up to Dormer. Dormer has to regain control. Sends it across, off the wall. Bennett tries to trap it on the wall. Knights players use this wall. Freitas comes in to help out. Whittingham comes in to help out. Just over a minute left to play in the game. Puck still tied up on the wall. Nobody's got it. Nothing doing, and we are going to get a stoppage. 53.6 seconds left in the game. Face off in the Knight zone. Same group out as before to continue the power. Knights win the draw. They're going to send it hard around the boards, up and out of the zone. White has to come back in his own zone on the far side.
Get off its edge.
White has to try to knock it down. Just sends it up for Whittingham. Whittingham turns in the zone, down into the corner, up against the near side wall, gets pinned up again. Bennett's in there, Whittingham's in there, and Freitas is in there. Puck comes up the wall, and now clears out to neutral ice. White has to make a move. Knights player takes a weird little body down. White's in the zone. White takes a shot. And we have another penalty coming to the Knights. And then even with that, a little extra period after the whistle. 13.9 seconds left in the game. We'll have a 5-on-3 for the next 13.9 seconds. Out on the ice, we've got Whitted, Sarver, Drexel, Espirito, and Bisley to try to see if they can make something happen within this last 13.9 seconds of play time with the two-man advantage. Let's win the draw. They're going to send it around. Bisley holds it at the blue line. Sends it back down, looking for Sarver off the board. Sarver wrinkles it back in. Up to Espirito. Espirito back to Sarver. Sarver looking across. Can't get a stick. It's on the spot. Score after 3. It's 3-0 in favor of the Northstar Christian Academy Knights. Tough loss, but I knew this team was going to be good. I'd say overall, the boys feel good about how we battled. I feel like the Knights moved the puck really well and sort of wore us down as the game went on. So they're not through the puck and they gave up a couple. Or maybe it was the second. But after the Knights got they gave up a couple. Then I think they just did a good job moving the puck and wearing us down and wearing us out. So with all of that said, the boys played a hard game today, and a 3-0 loss to a team of this caliber is nothing to be ashamed of. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow morning for Game 4. See you then.